The topic for today is addiction. Most of us in this society are addicted beyond compare, beyond reason. No matter what it is we do in this culture, man, we find ourselves overdoing it or becoming consumed by whatever it is we doing. And in this society, most times we say addiction is talking about drugs, and we acknowledge to a degree that sex is an addiction. But I would say sex is probably a worse addiction than drugs and alcohol because we don't truly deem it an addiction. We act as though we supposed to be having sex at this rapid rate with any and everybody that we possibly can. Doesn't matter what we doing. And I'm not talking about in a religious perspective. I'm not talking about righteousness or holiness. I'm talking about disgusting. I'm talking about disease, which is dis-ease. I don't care what it is that you're doing. If you are not at ease and it's not at peace with your living conditions, then what you're doing is a disease. And that's an addiction. When you're diving into a disease, eyes wide open, glad to be a part of it. Of course, in this culture, we are addicted to money. People say money is the reason to do anything. If it's money behind it, that justifies anything that a person could do. And I disagree with that wholeheartedly, that we get lost in our own minds about the things that we think. And that's the worst addiction, is our thoughts. We deem our own thoughts worthy because we have them. Just because somebody thinks something doesn't mean that it's correct. We have fashioned a group of people and a way of thinking as insane. And we saw where they think a certain way, so let's lock them away, whether it be criminally insane, clinically insane. We say, oh, they not thinking properly, so we need to put them away. But all these politicians out here doing anything they want to do to a person in society, making laws that enslave people. Oh, that's not insane. All these men out here taking advantage of women, children, other men, what have you. No, that's not insane. That's capitalism at its finest. We're taking advantage of each other as a philosophy. And it's like, what could be possibly be wrong with us doing that to one another? You know what I mean? We are addicted to our own thinking. Whatever we think, we say, yeah, that's what I need. Our desires are all justified because we have them. And that's just not what I see in this world. We have to find that line in ourselves. That's what balance is. That's what peace is finding that line. Not being good or bad. It's being in that center. Being able to do whatever you need to do. Take that step to the left or the right, depending on the situation and what it entails for your benefit in the situation. And I don't mean your benefit as in personal gratification. Your true benefit. I don't care if you want to look both ways when you cross the street. If you don't do that, that might not work out best for you. You know what I mean? So not the thing that you want to do. You want to just run across the street and get across to the other side because of whatever is waiting you on the other side. But what's best for you is that you get there safely without getting hit. So that addiction that we have in us all is something that I've had to overcome with, acknowledge first, and then overcome. The diseases in me, those addictions in me. I've been addicted to sex. I've been addicted to weed. I've been addicted to ignorance. Because ignorance is the most enticing of all the diseases. Because when you ignorant to the reality of things, shoot, everything is great. You ask a child, the world is the most unbelievable place. Everything is possible. Anything can happen. And as we grow older, we know that's not the truth. Disney World is not life. We get that portrayal in itself. The idea of Disneyland, that fun, the place, oh, this wonderful place where anything can happen. And then we build a culture of children that grow up thinking about Christmas and Santa Claus and tooth fairies and all of these other things. And then want to know why they're not realistic when they grow up. We've been teaching them lies and expectations of hope and grandeur and mystical unbelief. I don't even have the words to describe what could possibly be the thinking of a culture that says the best way for a person to grow up is to introduce fantasy into their life before they even can grasp it. You telling a 5-year-old child who doesn't understand life, who doesn't understand poetic license, who doesn't understand cinema, theater, any of these things, and bringing drama into their life. You telling them about this big fat man coming down the chimney bringing them gifts. I don't care who they are, where they are, they're going to embrace that because it's beneficial to them. They don't care the venue or the vessel through which it came. You saying at the end of the day that I'm going to get presents. I don't care who it's from. I'm going to receive. So that's going to be enticing to anybody to hear that. You know what I mean? So this addiction that we facing is something that takes over our every breath. Some people get addicted to food. Some get addicted to fun. Some people get addicted to clothes. And I mean, there is no end to the addiction that takes place in our mind because we have the free will to do anything. Anything. Whether it's what we perceive as good or perceive as bad. We have the capabilities to do anything. So that addiction can overwhelm us. We have to stop and think this one question that I've been asking people since I came into the revelation of understanding of the need for balance is, do you think about what you think about? Most people, when I ask that question, they're offended. They say, why would you think about what you think about? That's you second guessing yourself. And that's a foolish idea. If you don't second guess yourself, that's making a suggestion that your first thought is always correct. Your intuition is sublime or divine. And I would say that anybody that truly searched their self will find out that that's not the case. We have to check ourselves because the decisions that we make, as I've said, most of the times come through our personal desires. Our personal desire to have what we want, not what we need. So check that addiction in yourself. Listen to these words again. Play it back and search for that addiction in you. Because one way or another, we are all addicted to something. We have to find that balance so that we can take back control over our lives and our existence to get the true worth out of this experience of existence. See you next time.